What's up, guys? It's your boys Awoki back out with another of the Chris Watts videos. And today we're actually going to take a look at the case of Chris Watts with the Polygraph. We actually have never watched the Polygraph on the channel. I've watched it personally, but we've actually not watched it and kind of like dissect it. So we're going to do that today. Plus, we're going to go to a channel that I have, yes, gotten permission from. So for those haters, you can bite me. And this is from JCS Criminal Psychology. I'm definitely very intrigued because this man looks like he's doing very well for himself and almost hitting 6 million subscribers. And these both of the videos have hit 15 to 10 million. So obviously he's doing something right. So with that being said, before we go any further, if you guys could do me a solid favor and subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit that white bar icon down at the bottom right, hit that bell icon next to it. So when I do post videos like this one, you guys will get that little ring notification that Zawoki myself has posted that video. And then you guys can watch, comment, like, and share. And again, hopefully one day we will hit that 100K goal. But until that time, we're going to keep on driving on. Also, I know JCS Criminal Psychology doesn't need my help, but definitely go over to his channel if you guys have not seen his channel before. Go over there, subscribe, comment, like, and share. Give him the love that he deserves for obviously making this video for us to more learn about the Watts case from what we might not know already. So, with that being said, let's get in the video.
The drama began shortly after the Frederick Police Department received a call from Nichol Atkinson, the best friend of Shannon Watts. She had arranged to drive Shannon into town that same day for a pregnancy checkup, but there was no answer when she knocked at the door, nor any response.
Just think, if Shanann didn't have that appointment that morning, and Nichol Atkinson didn't come over to pick her up, or what have you, and Chris actually did have time to dispose of items, evidence, and whatnot, possibly getting away with things during the cleanup with Nichol Kessinger, because we found out, obviously, that her phone pinged in that area. There is a woman, a slender woman with curves, as somebody said in one of the interviews, that she was seen at this location. They couldn't get a facial recognition of her, but they just said a woman of youth that was in a slender build and curvy. Okay.
To her text messages or phone calls. After noticing her shoes were still at the front door, she became concerned and called 911.
Nicole?
Yes.
Okay. What's going
And if I might add, Chris told her not to call 911.
on?
So my friend, we were out of town for a business trip this weekend.
Right.
And I dropped her off at 2 o'clock this morning. She's 15 weeks pregnant. She wasn't feeling well. And she had a doctor's appointment this morning at 9. And I told her to let me know if she needed me to take her. She's got 2 little girls. I've called, I've texted. Her car's in the garage. Her shoes she wears every single day are right in the front door.
See, that's what bugs me, is they do check the windows, but they just look like, they like look in. They don't actually because they can't physically go in without consent from the owner. So I'm guessing that's why they didn't touch the doors, but they look in, but they don't check that one window that Chris said was unlatched, or you could just lift it up and it would come off the track.
How you doing? You seen your neighbors today? No? Okay. What's Chris's phone number?
Chris's phone number is...
Hey, Chris, Officer Coonrod for the police department. Pretty good. So, do you have any idea where your wife is? Right. What my concern is, her car's here. They're saying she is diabetic. I don't want her, if she's upstairs and can't respond. Okay. About how far out are you?
Somebody said that they saw somebody up in this window right here, which I don't think was legit. But again, somebody was messing with the door, the garage door, when everybody was gone. And that was the garage door to the entry of the home. So that was inside the garage to the access point of the garage door. And then the actual garage door itself was messed with. And that was at, was it 12:42? And Nichol Atkinson went to the doctor's appointment to just ask if they had shown up at all, and that was at 12:45. So Nichol Kessinger or Nichol Atkinson was not even near this house at that time. But somebody opened the door inside this house because the Vivint system alarm notified that it did go off.
Okay, all right. He said like 5 minutes.
It's not a sure sign of guilty conduct, yet the fact that Chris made the officer wait for his return would have most likely alerted some minor suspicion. In normal circumstances, a husband receiving a call from the police saying they were concerned about the safety of their pregnant wife and children, in most cases, would have given them permission to immediately kick the door down. It's a truly somber awareness to know that the man stepping out of the car had only a very short time ago dumped his infant daughter's bodies into an oil tank and buried his pregnant wife in a shallow grave.
Scott, how you doing?
How's it going?
So this is the only vehicle she would have?
Only one that, yeah.
She would drive? Okay.
The familiar routine for anyone checking for someone's presence inside a house, whether it be
I know this is what JCS is going to touch on, but the first thing he does is look inside the car.
an emergency or otherwise, is to immediately call out to them for instantaneous reassurance.
Exactly.
Chris remains silent, but instead feels the need to examine his wife's car before subtly sneaking through the internal garage door. He then disappears for 1 minute and 7 seconds before letting the neighbors and police officer inside. Only Chris will know what he carried out during that time period, but
I think, honestly, he was either one, checking to make sure that, again, I can't say this for a fact if she was there or not, but probably either trying to see if Nichol was gone, 2, clean up any evidence that might have been left over, and 3, I don't know, come back to me.
it's safe to assume that his curious behavior was not going unnoticed, made evident by the unsettled gaze of Nichol as he opens the door.
And the mother that I didn't realize, I know I'm stupid when it comes to that I didn't realize that she was on the phone with the mom. And the mom was like, Nichol, you have every right to go in my daughter's house.
Mind if I come in, Chris?
There were multiple key moments captured from inside the house, which may not have been noticed immediately by the officer, but would have no doubt been gathered by forensics upon further investigation. The most overt peculiarity was Chris's interaction with his phone. The guise of his thumb movement would have given the impression he was texting someone, which would have seemed very peculiar, as the normal response would be to frantically call people rather than text given the circumstance.
Yeah, he's not even looking in his house. He's on his phone, talking to talking to Nichol Kessinger. He did talk to a couple people of friends, but that was it. He doesn't show any worry. You know who else doesn't show any worry? Well, I can't say that. Nichol Kessinger did show worry, but she showed worry for herself.
Hindsight gives us a clearer picture of Chris's introversion, which is that he was most likely using his phone to avoid eye contact and progressive dialogue with the officer.
Or text Nikki, where are you? I need to know where you are.
What time do you leave the day?
What time I leave there?
No, here.
Usually between 5:30 and 6.
Alright. And was Shannon here then?
Yes. Yeah, she's still in bed.
Look at Nichol Kessinger,
Does she usually watch the kids, or you have daycare watch them?
Atkinson.
She usually watches the kids at my
Son.
Okay. You guys have any kind of issues, marital issues, or?
We're going through separation.
You are? How's that going?
It's going
Civil for the most part, or?
You really wish you knew what he was doing on that phone.
Additionally, we are presented with the subtle cues of Chris's forethought cover story, being that his wife simply ran off with the kids after a breakdown in the marriage.
All the girls' blankies are gone.
Oh, you mean the ones that you put in the garbage?
Their blankies they sleep with, they don't leave anywhere without them.
Good.
And then the ring.
On the nightstand next to her brother. Takes off her hair.
The rest of Chris's conduct could be analyzed and dissected in various ways, and it would be
The way that his mouth was, like, what is it? What is this? Like, did you see that face? Look at him coming out. Like he's trying to hold his smirk.
Takes off her hair.
The rest of Chris.
She took it off to color her hair. So you're telling me she colored her hair last night? I just realized that. He says she takes it off to color her hair. So she had enough time to come home at almost 1:40 to 2 o'clock in the morning to color her hair?
Chris's conduct could be analyzed and dissected in various ways, and it would be easy to pick at certain oddities in body language and link them with signs of guilt. Yet, without the hindsight we have now, his behavior could just as easily be linked with an innocent man who is understandably concerned and frantic over the disappearance of his family. His very conservant neighbor, however, had the perceptual advantage of knowing Chris on a semi-personal level, and could analyze his kinesics in a far more accurate manner than the police officer.
You just want to go talk to him? I'm going to get his info real quick.
Thank God for Nate, too.
No.
Rocking back and forth. He never brings his stuff in and out of the garage ever.
Right.
To be completely honest with you, my wife and I were kind of wondering when she was on vacation if something happened, because I've heard them full out screaming at each other at the top of their lungs, and he gets crazy.
Does he? And that's pretty recently.
Yeah. He doesn't look worried. He looks like he's trying to cover his tracks.
But see, Betty said that she never even heard them a peep.
Normally quiet, real subdued. He's over here telling you 3 times what he took out, what he did. He's very, he never talks. So the fact that he's over here blabbing his mouth makes me kind of suspicious.
This was just after the moment he had shown both Chris and the officer his surveillance footage of that same morning, capturing only Chris leaving the house after loading multiple unidentified things into his truck.
Yeah, we can pick up cars coming this way. I get anything coming this way and making this turn. So, and usually at night I pick up the cars going to your turn.
But Nate also said in a different interview, I can't remember which one it was exactly, but Chris would also park his car right here because they were having problems with people breaking in. So it was suspicious that Chris parked over here instead of over here. Just throwing that out there for those that didn't know that.
So unless they pulled right here, yeah, but I would have caught her walking out.
Although not fully incriminating, as Shannon and the kids could have left through the back entrance, this was an extremely detrimental piece of evidence, and would have no doubt been extolled by forensics and made Chris an immediate prime suspect.
I haven't looked at JCS's crime psychology videos on these yet because I want to keep my reaction genuine, but I wonder if he's ever made anything about Nichol Kessinger. Just curiosity.
The following day, Chris, for some bizarre reason, agreed to be interviewed by 2 separate news stations where he came across as extremely unimpassioned and detached from the alarming nature of the situation.
Like when I got home yesterday, it was like a ghost town. Like she wasn't here, kids weren't here. I have no idea like where they went. Right now it's got K9 units, the sheriff's department. Everybody's like they're doing their best right now to figure out like if they can get a scent. If she wasn't here, like where did she go? Like, once I got here, it was like, all right.
His dialogue is less than my 6-year-old nephew. The information that we get from Chris and Nicole is less, like I said, than my 6-year-old nephew, which I think he would give me a heck of a lot more details. And he has autism. Smart kid, though. But that's how dumb Chris and Nicole are with their information that they gave out to law enforcement and police.
Who can I call? I called her 3 times, texted her about 3 times just to say, you know, what's going on? Like, if she's vanished, like, I want her back so bad. I want those kids back so bad. Right now, I don't even want to just, like, throw anything out there. Like, I hope that she's somewhere safe right now and with the kids. Last night, I wanted that knock on the door. I wanted to see those kids just running, just barrel rush me and just give me a hug and knock me on the ground. That's why last night was just horrible. I couldn't do it. I'm hoping that somebody sees something or somebody knows something and comes forward. Shanann, Bella, Celeste, if you're out there, just come back. Like, if somebody has her, just please bring her back. I need to see everybody. I need to see everybody again. This house is not complete without anybody here. Please bring it back.
This could have been construed as shock trauma, where a person will turn numb and retreat into themselves as a means of escape. Yet the viewers watching this live from home were probably thinking what we as the retrospective audience already know. He was called...
I remember watching this live with the missus that I'm with now, and I called BS on this dude right away.
Called in for questioning 4 hours later.
Never in a million years did I think I was going to do like a deep dive on this.
All right, let's do this. Somebody saw something. Somebody knows where these kids are. And I keep saying kids. I'm sorry. Your kids and your wife. I know you're going through a lot, so we're not going to keep you here all night. Just tell me exactly what you remember, and I'll take notes about where we can go.
Okay. So this 1:48 a.m.
Let me switch chairs. Okay. Because when they come knocking, I gotta use that key.
One of the oldest and most commonly used techniques is for the interrogator to sit between the door and the suspect. This is for the purpose of heightening the feelings of isolation and dependence. It's an indirect subliminal message, letting Chris know that the only way out of that room is through the detective. It's an excellent tool for stripping away confidence, thus increasing the telling signs and body language when information is fabricated.
And I'm not a professional, and I knew that.
4 a.m. That's when my alarm goes off for work, and I'm supposed to get dressed, brush my teeth, everything I do upstairs.
Okay.
About 4:15, that's when I get back, slide right into bed next to her, and start having a conversation with her about having putting the house up for sale, and talking about it, like actually proceeding with the separation.
Okay.
And obviously it gets pretty emotional, like we're talking about, like we felt the disconnection was there, like falling out of love, and trying to stay together, maybe just for the kids' sake, but we're realizing that doing like our homework, it's not, most of the time that's not going to work.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean the homework that you did with Nicole and not Shanann?
So that's when I got home, I opened the garage door and we went inside the house and looked everywhere. Shanann, Bella, and Celeste, nowhere to be found. Shannon's wedding ring's on her nightstand, her phone's still on the couch, her purse is still there, the medicine for the kids is still there, the car seat is still there, and there's no sign of them anywhere.
Okay.
Please take information. He goes to bed at 10 p.m.
I was just hoping that, I left all the lights on in the house.
Oh, why was he not able to sleep from 10 to 2? He was talking to NK.
I was hoping that I'd get a knock on the door, but nothing happened.
What do you think happened?
Also trying to have a three-way call with Nichol Kessinger.
At first, I really thought maybe she was just at somebody's house, just decompressing.
Just blowing off steam.
Yeah. But after today, like with the onslaught of all the cars, all the police cars, all the news, all the canine units, it's making me lean the other direction about someone took her.
Okay.
But it's just, if someone took her, it would have to have been someone she knew. Because there's no sign of anything like being disturbed, broken.
Mm-hmm.
But like that's
like when they say there's truth in the lies, definitely is.
the way I'm leaning now. At first I thought for real she was just decompressing somewhere. I thought she was safe.
Mm-hmm.
Even though everything in the house was left there. But now it's just after the day with the news crews and everything, it feels more the other direction. And it's freaking me out.
So I should have been reading these off for you guys too, but a lot of you guys already know this, but discussing Shanann's friends circle, the work life that he had or she had, phone history and computer history. Now, we don't really get into the whole computer history because I know Shanann had a laptop, she had a tablet and a phone. Chris had his computer for work, and then he also had a phone. They also had but we never look into the actual like computer history. So why haven't we looked into that? It's either that they didn't look at it or it wasn't of a concern after they looked at it and they're like, yeah, we don't need to put this in here at all.
On that night, I woke up early that morning, I told her like the disconnection it's there, like it's not going away. Like the connection we had in the beginning, it's not there anymore. It's like I don't feel like the love we have is there anymore.
Okay.
And it's just like, I don't feel like, I mean, if we want to stay together for the kids, I'm not sure if that's going to work. Like bringing
That's
another,
what you told him?
yes.
Okay.
Like having another baby, bringing us into this relationship, do you think this is going to work with us being together? Or separation, I think, is going to be the best possible route for us. And that's when like all the crying and everything proceeded. And it was very hard just to talk about that. But I needed to do it face to face.
Okay.
And I needed to see her face like while I did it. I couldn't text, phone, whatever. I needed to be face to face and know that she was going to be at least reciprocating back to me.
Oh, what did she say?
She said that she wanted to kind of work on it, but if that's the way I
Like the counseling that she said you want to take, and you said no.
was feeling, then she respects that.
Okay. 1 p.m. I'm now on my way home to check on my family. Is that just because you're worried based on the conversation with Nicole? Had the police contact you by then?
No.
Okay. 2, I arrived. Sorry, go ahead.
But Nicole said she was probably going to call the cops.
Okay. All right.
So did Abby.
Now, so it sounds like Nicole's pretty worried. More worried than you.
Well, so once she couldn't get anything out of her and nothing was going on in the house, I was like, all right, I got it.
Oh, this guy didn't have any filter. He's like, Nicole was more worried than you. Like, where was this guy? This guy should have been on Nichol Kessinger.
The sharp and sudden change of angle from baseline questioning to direct confrontation would normally make an innocent person refute or at least challenge the statement. There would also be a brief pause, as they would need time to process the allegation due to its perplexity. A guilty individual would already be in a defensive state of mind and would normally respond in a hastily modus. Instead of refuting the remark, they would accept it, but try and explain its actuality in a defensive manner.
But it sounds like Nicole was more worried.
Yeah, because like if she doesn't text me, like I understand that.
Okay.
Like sometimes that happens.
Okay.
But for her not to get back to her direct sales group, that was very unorthodox.
Okay. So then they're at home. Police officers there. Then walk me through that.
So as we go through the house,
Did you immediately go through the house?
I opened the garage door and I just...
He knew. He's like, you didn't go immediately into the house and looking for them. You went to the car to look inside.
I just go into the house. I'm looking. Like I just go in the garage door and I'm looking.
Is the police officer saying, "Hey, let me talk to you for a minute"?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
What's the vibe like?
I go up there, shake his hand, but I'm like opening the garage door at the same time.
Okay.
And then I go through, and then they're waiting at the front door. I go in, open that up, and then they come in.
Oh, so they didn't go in the garage door with you? Okay.
Well, they went in the garage. They didn't come in the way I did.
All right. So then everybody goes in.
I think that was at 4 o'clock. That's when, because the officer had went over to the neighbor's house to see if he saw anything, and
Whose idea was that?
I think it was the officer, because he just went over there. And then that's when the neighbor called him back over to show him he had some stuff from the other night. To show him like whatever he had and that put motion on it.
Okay.
Where he like
14.
freaked out.
Police check neighbor security footage and question them as well. Okay. Have we talked about that? Is that where we're okay?
That's where we're at.
Anything else about that?
So this must be a summary of what happened the first day. He's making Chris read it to kind of possibly, hopefully, either one, like fight this summary or agree with the summary or make any mistakes to see if he folds or to see if Chris had a good poker face kind of thing, which he didn't.
No, I mean, it just shows Nicole dropping her off, but...
And the word I was trying to go at was contest.
Her not walking up, and it shows me loading my truck up about the time I told you I left.
Okay. Can we talk about something that's kind of hard to talk about?
Man, it's an hour and 11 minutes in, and he's already going for the gut jugular.
So when I work investigations like this, I have to keep an open mind on everything. Okay.
Chris is sucking his lip.
And part of keeping an open mind is listening to you talk about your wife and your marriage And the day she goes missing is the day that you guys have marital discord. Okay? So you can understand.
There's where it all turns.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
It makes me sick to my stomach, honestly. Like, I know, like, I've talked to a few of my friends, is like, you know, this does not look good on you. I'm like, I know. It's like, people that, if people knew that we were having marital issues, they're gonna look at me, especially with the way everything looks.
87% of the time.
It makes me sick to my stomach because this is something that I would never do. Ever. I know, like, you have to look at every vantage point. This is something I would never do to my kids or my wife at all.
Cops not buying it.
This is what is known as the pause technique. After the suspect answers a question, the interrogator will remain silent while maintaining eye contact. This physical demeanor gives off the subtle cue that he expects more information to be divulged and may already know more than the suspect realizes.
I'm not sure, like, what I could do, like, to make people believe that, just because if they knew we were having marital discord, they would automatically look at me. But there's no, I would harm anybody in my family at all.
Wrong. Man, this.
I know we were having marital discord, and we had that conversation that morning.
Why didn't this guy interview Nicole? I love how this guy's doing this.
And then she goes, we have no idea where she is, or the kids. I promise you that I had nothing to do with any of that.
Man, the pauses are killing me.
Are you telling me the truth?
I'm telling you the absolute truth.
Why should I believe you?
A truthful individual will normally respond to this question with a question, such as, "Why are you asking me that?" or "What's going on here?" They will often protest the aggressive nature of the inquisition, or give a short and forceful response.
Because I'm a very trustworthy person, and the people that do know me, they know how I'm a calm person. I am not an argumentative person. I am a person that's never going to be abusive or physical in any kind of relationship. I would never harm my kids. I would never harm my wife.
Is he a silent murderer?
I mean, you can talk to any of my friends, any of her friends. They know me. They know I'm a low.
And when I say silent murderer, I mean like a murderer that's always wanted to murder, but he just sat there and kind of like played things off until he thought he could take this moment now and finally do that because of all the work that he just put in by being this silent, calm, genuine kind of guy. I mean, it's possible, but at the same time, who knows?
Key guy that's quiet. I'm not about confrontation. I'm not about anything that elevates to that level. I mean, like, if someone like yells at me, screams at me, I just take it and I just try to get it by the wayside and get it back to where it's just a cool conversation to where, like, none of that.
So if he's not an argumentative kind of guy, you think he was going to have an argument with Shanann that morning over separating?
None of that gets to that height, because I am not that person. I've never been that person.
Until now. Because he doesn't want to be defined at one point of his life to make him look like a bad person.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Would you take a polygraph?
Sure.
Okay. Let's take a little break. I'm going to come back in here because I have a lot more questions for you.
And we're going to watch that polygraph here live with my reaction.
Looking at that picture.
Those are my little girls. Just when he hears it, just listen to his voice.
Find him. Cut.
page. She's always the one that's gung-ho. She's always the one that's just like... She's off. She's either go or sleep. She's always the one growling. She's always been... She's a tiger. Bella, she's the calm, the mothering one. She's the one that's always... You okay? You okay? You fine? Okay. She's just the sweetest little girl. She's the one that favors me more, and Celeste is the one that favors Shanann more.
And you took them away.
I remember when they wore that dress. She just wore that dress not too long ago.
He says was, we, Louis is an NK.
No, Daddy, button. I got button. And Bella loves those spaghetti strap dresses. She likes long dresses. She was a girly girl.
Part 1. Let's go to part 2. Man, we're just already into it.
I'm gonna find him, right? I need your help.
Chris is trying to make himself look better.
When we find the guy who took him, what do you think we should do?
I've seen this tactic.
This is what is known as a behavior-provoking question. An innocent person will usually give what is known as a draconian response. They will immediately respond with the harshest sentence possible for the crime they are falsely being accused of committing. A deceptive individual will often give an equivocating response. This means that they will fragmentize and divert from the question to a certain degree, as a means to avoid responding to the query in its entirety.
They're gonna come home safe, correct? When you find the guy.
When we find the guy, they're going to come home.
Not safe.
Life in prison would be that's what I would think with 2 kids that are involved.
What if he hurt them?
Death.
I'm not sure if like that penalty is even used. Is it used in Colorado? I'm not even sure what is the death penalty.
Okay.
I really hate when people go after children or harm children. It bothers me so much.
I mean, like, if these kids are not alive, there's no thing you could do to cope with that, to make me cope with that, if those kids are not okay.
Okay. Can we keep talking about some complicated things? Sure. Some things that are going to make you uncomfortable?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. You've done very good in talking to me about this really hard conversation you guys had. Okay? Very good. That's sometimes hard. And I
give someone praise and they'll try to be your buddy.
I understand why sometimes someone in your position says, doesn't want to tell me about that. Because please go help me find my kids, and you don't need to know about my marriage argument. Okay? So I got to say, you've done very good at that. And I need you to keep doing that. So I need to ask you about your marriage and infidelity.
Sure.
Okay, tell me about it.
I have never cheated on my wife.
Okay.
And I fully suspect she has never done that to me.
Oh, okay.
The interrogator was already aware that Chris was cheating on his wife with a woman by the name of Nichol Kessinger. He had
because she came forward.
Handed over his phone earlier on this interview for what he thought was for the purpose of going through his and his wife's mutual contacts to look for potential suspects. Judging by Chris's bold-faced denial, it's safe to assume he deleted all of his correspondence with Nichol beforehand. Yet he was most likely unaware that the FBI have programs that can recover every single piece of digital exchange sent from a device, even long after it's deleted.
Highly trained investigator over here, right? I see pictures of you from a few years ago, and I see you standing before me now. Okay, you've gotten pretty fit. Yes. Okay. You can imagine when guys start cheating or want to cheat, that's what happens.
Yes.
So tell me about it.
I did not cheat on my wife.
Okay. What do I do to help you walk out of this room and not look like the person who's responsible?
He's so good at his questions.
You have to trust me. I had nothing to do with this act of like evil cruelty, whatever has happened here. Because my love for these 2 girls and my wife, like, I don't want anything to happen to them. I've never wanted anything to happen to them. No matter if me and my wife separate or not, or divorce or anything, I never wish harm on anybody, on a human being in general.
Okay.
Like, just seeing that picture, like, I need them, I want them just to run through that front door and just grab me, or just just tackle me, knock me to the floor, bust my head up, I don't care. The amount of love I have for my family is exponential, and it's never gonna die. And they need, I want them back.
Okay.
He literally said it right there.
I have to have them back.
I can't let that die. There's truth within the lies.
When you walk out of this room, there's nothing I can say to a room full of police officers that's going to convince them that you have nothing to do with this. You know what they think.
I know all that, yeah.
Here's a guy who didn't call 911, who woke his wife up at a ridiculous hour because he was so guilty about something that he had to get it off his chest and say, I don't love you anymore, I'm leaving you.
Where was this confrontation that could have been like this on Nichol?
That didn't go well. Okay, so what happened?
She told me she wanted me to wake her up before I left. That's why I didn't just wake her up, like, just to tell her this. Like, I woke her up. That's what she wanted to do, and we talked. Like, usually at 4 a.m. I wake up, I go down and work out. This day, I wanted to talk to her about this. I love these girls. I love these girls so much. And this picture right here, Celeste and Bella, those are my life. I helped make those kids. There's nothing in my life that means more to me than these kids.
Should have said I helped make my babies.
Nothing. Kids, that's your life. That's your lifeline. That's everything. Like, you make kids, they come first before anything. Kids, spouse, family. That's what it's always been.
Stop buying it.
Nothing you've told me tonight makes sense. Nothing you've told me tonight feels like the truth.
Why didn't this guy do this? I know I'm being a broken record player, but literally what he's saying, nothing what you're saying makes sense. Nothing NK was saying made sense. She was protected.
Tonight's been pretty intense, I can imagine.
It's like a boxing ring.
I've slept like 2 hours last night, so I'm like running on empty right now, but
I can see it. So why don't I do this? I'm sure you don't mind if we take a break for the night. I'm sure that you are feeling some of the pressure from me. Okay? I'm going to commit to you that we're not going to stop working until we find them.
Okay.
Okay? And I want to commit to you that there is going to come a time when you're going to feel this pressure from other people. I'm not the only one who thinks that there's a possibility you have something to do with this.
Like another FBI agent, like pressure, or like just like
everyone.
Okay.
Everyone, Chris.
Okay.
The interrogator is clearly receptive to Chris's anxiety and endeavors to amplify this emotion before ending the interview. He wants to inflate Chris's apprehension as much as possible for the looming polygraph test that approaches the following day.
Tonight when you go home, one of two things is going to happen. You're going to pass out because you're so tired, okay? And that's probably not going to be what happens. Your head's going to go race, okay? So tonight when you lay down and your head starts racing, there's going to be things that come to your mind, okay? This always happens, always. It's very natural. You're going to say, I wonder why he asked me that, okay? You're going to say, screw him, how dare he accuse me, okay? You're going to say, I wonder if they thought of this, okay? And then you're going to say, I probably should have told him something, or this, or that, okay? Those are the most common things. When those thoughts come to your head, I want you to call me. And those are beautiful kids. Those kids have a good dad, and I know it.
I should see the picture it's on my phone.
Yeah.
It's a better one, but it's just...
Man, this guy's
I'm sorry too.
coming in swinging.
Those kids have a good dad.
The following discourse from the officer could be construed as the reframing technique, where an interrogator will try and shift the suspect's view of themselves from negative to positive, as a means to lightening the iniquity of their crimes and increasing the chances of a confession. However, this is more likely what is known as passive accusation, where the interrogator is almost certain of the suspect's guilt and indirectly accuses, and in some manner, indignifies the suspect. This is made evident by the high praises the officer gives to Chris for extremely trivial deeds.
A lot of dads don't get second pairs of clothes and cook eggs and give them snacks at night. You know, a lot of men, that's woman's work, right?
I like to get involved.
But you're not that kind of guy. Okay. So can we say that tomorrow at 11 o'clock?
Sure.
We can do Polygraph? Here. I appreciate you coming in tonight. All right, give me a few minutes.
I'm surprised they let him
This
go.
is Tammy. Did you meet Tammy yesterday?
No,
okay.
you know, I always
Tammy.
Hi, Chris. How
Ding,
are
ding,
you?
ding. Round two.
Yeah, I know. I'll explain with that here in a little bit, but you don't have to worry. It's not on or anything right now. It's not gonna buzz you or anything. Obviously, you're probably nervous about taking today's test. Honestly, I would think something is wrong with you if you weren't nervous about coming in here to take a polygraph. Even if people are like, I don't have anything to hide, it is nerve-wracking. And I have taken tons of polygraphs. Obviously, in my training, I went to 10 weeks for training. I've been a polygrapher for about 5 years. I went to the best school in the country. So I want you to have confidence in the fact that you had nothing to do with this decision. We're going to find that out today, okay? I have the best training that they offer in the United States. We use the most validated testing. That's the way I'm going to ask you the questions. So believe me, if you had nothing to do with this, I will be able to show them that today.
This is psychological pressure disguised as reassurance. It's not a routine procedure during the pre-test phase of a polygraph exam, yet this technique will be used when the suspect's guilt is almost conclusive. Polygraphs are not a foolproof system, and they can be beaten, but with a heightened state of anxiety, it becomes considerably more challenging and unlikely. On this occasion, the polygrapher distinctly applies this technique for maximal effect.
There's actually only 2 ways you can fail a polygraph, okay? The first way would be if you fail to follow my instructions. I'm going to give you a lot of instructions today about how to sit still, how to answer questions, things like that. So if you fail to follow those instructions, you will not pass today's test, okay? The second way would be if you choose to lie to me today. You know, if you did have something to do with their disappearance, it would be really stupid for you to come in and take a polygraph today.
Exactly.
Right? Like, it would be really dumb. Like, you should not be here.
I want to know if he like kind of tried to Google it to see if he could beat the test, but
Right now, sitting in this chair, if you had anything to do with Shanann and the little girl's disappearance, okay?
Wish they would have done this with NK. I love that he goes and
But yeah, we just, everything flourished from there.
he doesn't let us watch everything. He speeds up. I like that this guy does this.
Like in 2011, I proposed to her over in Ocean Isle Beach. And she was just sitting there crying with a little eviction notice, and she recorded it. It was really,
He's trying to
it was an amazing day.
prep
See
himself
that, and then
for good
she
thoughts.
left. I was there. Like, she had a midwife for this one, so like they actually had me like, you can stand here and like, you know, catch her, and like, but Celeste came out like so fast that like I barely had a chance to go like this, and they moved me out of the way because she just like came out.
The polygrapher will also obtain the examinee's version of the facts regarding the specific issues under investigation.
Like, I was just hoping that I would get that knock on the door or a phone call or a text. I mean, her phone, they have her phone. Like, hopefully maybe it's a number I don't know. Hopefully it's like, you know, like a burner phone or some kind of like
A burner
phone.
phone?
She bought. She could just text me and call me like, hey, I'm okay. Something. Or just get a knock on the door and then the kids just run in. I miss like the kids like sitting at the dinner table and like having to tell them to eat their dinner, and like I miss them throwing their chicken
I feel
nuggets
like
at
he's
me. Like, I was
trying to flirt with her almost.
I want them to come
In a
home safe.
weird way.
Like, wherever they are, I hope they are safe. And I really hope they can just come home. It makes me feel like, all right, maybe somebody has her that's not keeping her safe, or something terrible has happened. And that's the nightmare.
And what would that terrible thing be?
That somebody hurt them.
Chris recounts a brief summary of the events and states multiple vague possibilities for his family's disappearance. The polygrapher then starts to elect specific timelines for Chris to give his account on.
You said the next thing you know is her getting into bed with you. Is that right?
I felt her get in bed. We didn't say anything because I just kind of felt it.
Okay. Do you know if she was on her phone or like how any of that works?
I don't think she was on her phone.
Was she mad at all?
I mean, crying like she was, crying like I was. I mean, yeah, I mean, she was upset, but I mean, it comes with that kind of conversation.
In the next moments, you will see another subterfuge of psychological pressure, this time disguised as routine questioning procedure.
I know it's totally awful to think about, but what are ways, because I need to make sure that you know what I'm talking about, what are ways that you can make someone disappear?
That's a big question.
I mean, like, it's like what I've seen.
That
like,
question got me nervous.
How people, if you read about other people, I mean, you hire somebody.
Like a hitman?
Yeah, I mean,
she wants to see if he knows anything.
That's what I want, because I want you to go through all of these scenarios in your head, because I want you to know for sure what I'm talking about when I say that, you know, asking you if you physically caused her disappearance.
Okay, like you would hire somebody, or you have somebody you know that would do it. I mean, it's
Nicole?
I mean, it's hard. It's a hard question.
And I know this stuff.
Was that a possibility? Nicole, would you help me murder my family? Just a possibility?
It's a hard question to answer.
Right.
Because it had nothing to do with this disappearance.
Right.
So like, I don't even want to think about like, if you're asking me like how I would do it, like
anyone. Like how would anyone cause someone else's disappearance?
I mean, you would. I said like.
You could cause someone's disappearance by murdering them.
Yes.
Do you agree with that?
Yes.
So what different physical ways could you cause someone's disappearance through murder? You could stab someone,
Stab
right?
someone, shoot someone, hit them with a blunt object. What else is there? I mean, use a weapon.
Still want to just put that out there. He says that his kids were choked, not strangled.
Like gun or knife. I mean,
okay.
You could.
You could smother someone. You could strangle someone.
Hang someone. I mean, yeah, you can. All that kind of things. I mean, it's hard to even think about that kind of stuff right now.
Mm-hmm. So you could strangle someone. You could drown someone.
Yeah.
You could shock someone to death. You could burn someone alive.
Tammy, I think we need to start looking at you. No,
what other ways?
God, crazy that she knows a little bit too many ways.
As far as like lure them into a trap, I guess.
What do you mean? What?
Like, you know, like have somebody waiting like around the corner and like, you know, hey.
Sure.
Like NK? Man, this is getting a little scary.
They're in a coma.
Sure. So if I ask you that question on the test, Chris, are you gonna have any issue with that? About you physically causing
going through every single one of those?
Yeah, like that would be a way you could cause someone's disappearance.
Okay. No, I can definitely I can pass. I mean,
you could murder them. You could kidnap them. You could take them to another country. You could, you know, bury them in your backyard. You could do a million things.
Yeah.
As far as
there's no filter.
Trying to conceal them.
Yeah.
Right. So that no one can find them.
Yes.
Because at this point,
tons of filters on NK.
So when I ask you the question on the test, I'm not asking you about guilt. I'm not asking you about, did you make her feel so horrible that she ended up leaving? I'm saying that you were the one that physically caused her to disappear. Okay. Either by murder, kidnapping, you know, all of those other things that we went through, okay?
You want me to list all those? Like
No. You're just going to say no to that question.
Okay.
Right. When I ask you if you physically caused Shanann's disappearance, your answer should be what?
No.
Right. So do you have any issues with that at all, and have any question about what I would mean when I was
that's totally.
He thought he was going to be able to
through all those. That's a lot to really think about.
He probably thought, because he's a calm, collected guy that doesn't like get in people's faces or freak out or something like that. He thought he was going to be able to beat this.
Well,
Right.
like trying to figure out like, that was.
I'm going to have you take a bathroom break. We've been in here quite a while. So you're going to be taking what's called a directed lie polygraph. So what that means is there are going to be questions on the test where I want you to lie. I know it seems kind of weird, but you're going to know which questions these are, and they're going to be easy to answer. They're all going to start with before 2018.
The directed lie test has 3 types of questions. Known truth questions. These are easy questions to answer, such as, are you sitting down? Or, are you wearing shoes? They serve 2 purposes. The first purpose is to provide a baseline reading for when the subject is telling the truth, and should elicit very little bodily responses. The second purpose is to disconnect the examinee's thought patterns between each question as a means for resetting their cerebration for a more accurate reading. Control questions. These are what the polygrapher just explained to Chris. Whenever she says, before 2018, at the start of a question, Chris will know he is purposely supposed to lie. Each of these questions are deliberately constructed that all answers will be responded with no. Relevant questions. These relate specifically to the crime being investigated, and the examinee will know that they are supposed to respond truthfully. A guilty subject will show a much stronger reaction to the relevant questions than to the control questions, even though they will be lying on both of them. This is due to the immediate threat posed by the relevant questions.
So I'm going to say before 2018, did you ever lose your temper with someone you cared about? And you're going to say,
No.
because you're telling a
Lie.
Awesome. The test is about to begin. Please remain still. Did you write the number 1?
No.
Did you write the number 3?
No.
Did you write the number 5?
No.
This portion of the test is complete. Please remain still while I take the instrument out of operation. Okay, you can relax. How'd you feel?
This is the last time the polygrapher will have any correspondence with Chris before the real test begins. She gives him an initial compliment in a reassuring tone.
You did great.
That was.
You remembered to lie and everything. That was awesome.
That was.
This moment boost in his confidence is then abruptly ripped away as he receives the following information.
So, you obviously are a really bad liar. Have people told you that before? Like, the second you tell a lie, like, they can tell, like, on your face that, because the second you lied to the number 3, like, I don't know if you heard me clicking, but I had, like, turned down the sensitivity because you were starting to go off the page. So, that is what I need to see as a polygrapher, because that tells me that you know it's wrong to tell a lie.
Now he's like, fudge!
And you're actually having a significant reaction when you lie, so that is awesome. So thank you for being a horrible liar. No, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. We don't want to be good liars, so thank you for being a horrible liar. And that just shows me that, you know, obviously on the test when they're asking, you know, significant stuff about your wife, if you're lying to that, it's going to be even 10 times more amplified. So I appreciate that.
Makes him more
I
nervous.
appreciate that very much, more than you know. So that was awesome. And the coolest thing about this is right now, there's only one person in this room that knows what the truth is. And in about 5 minutes, there's going to be 2 of us. So that's the coolest part.
She's the first one.
And I can go share that with them out there. Okay?
Okay.
All right, you ready?
Let's do it.
The test is about to begin. Please remain still. Do you understand I will only ask you the questions we have discussed?
Yes.
Regarding Shanann's disappearance, do you intend to answer all of the questions truthfully?
Yes.
Is your first name Christopher?
Yes.
Before 2018, did you ever lose your temper with someone you cared about?
No.
Did you physically cause Shanann's disappearance?
No.
Were you born in 1985?
Yes.
Before 2018, did you ever say anything out of anger to a loved one?
No.
Are you lying about the last time you saw Shanann?
No.
And my heart is pounding. I'm not even taking the test.
Are you now in the state of Colorado?
Yes.
Before 2018, have you ever wanted to hurt someone to get even with them?
No.
Do you know where Shanann is now?
No.
This portion of the test is complete. Please remain still while I take the instrument out of operation. All right, how'd you feel? Same with all of it?
I think it was the same through everything.
I'm gonna pass out, man.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
Oh, she knew on that laptop. She knew. She knew. He's probably thinking this is the last time he's gonna be able to see his screen with his friends or his loved ones.
Oh my gosh, I did forget part of it, didn't I?
Here we go.
So I brought Graham in here because we want to talk to you about the results, okay?
Okay.
So, it is completely clear that you were not honest during the testing, and I think you already know that. You did not pass the polygraph test.
Okay.
Okay. So now we need to talk about what
Again, -4. He was supposed to be at to fail. -18.
actually happened. I feel like you're probably ready to do that.
I didn't lie to you on that polygraph, I promise.
Chris,
I never
stop. It's time. Just stop for a minute. Take a deep breath. I want you to take a deep breath right now.
I need to take a deep breath. And that is the end of part 2. Now, there is a part 3 as well, but I would like to know if you guys would like to watch my reaction. I just kind of want to make sure that you guys are comfortable with the hour or maybe more, so that's why I'm kind of splitting this into a 2-part series when it's an actual 3-part series. So let me know down in the comments if you guys would like me to do that part 3 of the case of the Chris Watts polygraph and so on. Again, I thank you guys all for being here. Please put your comments down below from what you guys have seen, my reaction, so forth like that. Do you agree, disagree? I'd surely love to hear it. And with that being said, please take care, be safe, and as always, keep nerding on. We'll see you guys next time.